Hello there, welcome back. This is an extra special video that is about Godzilla, the Showa Era. We can see here the Criterion release, which is finally released in Britain. This is Criterion 1000. Right, so I'm going to go through I'm going to quickly show you the set. You get this wonderful picture here. You get some wonderful essays, and you get all the discs in the back. So it's 8 discs. You get a little flyer thing here, tells you all the titles that you can either leave on, left stuck on here, which went around here, or you can take off. I thought it looked a bit ugly, that I preferred this, so I leave it inside. The discs are good. The one thing I would say is basically some of the discs have like 3 films on them rather than 2, which I think is not a good thing, because I think in those cases the quality wasn't quite as good as the ones with films with discs that were basically had like 2 films on them. I wish they'd done an extra disc just to only have 2 discs, 2 films per disc, because a few of them, like Destroy All Monsters, I'd like to have seen in better quality. And some of the later films you saw looked better because probably something through the transfer, but also I think they had more space in the disc to actually put it on. But that's a minor criticism. It's still great to see all these films from the Showa period on a collection like this, because most Godzilla films you have to buy individually and collect and hope for the best. I have a lot of films, Godzilla films, without English subtitles. It's that bad. So it's not good if you're a Godzilla fan. I'm hoping this stuff sold, hopefully, to get more Godzilla films, hopefully, from Criterion. So I'm going to go through the films one by one now, and I will just show you what you get, what the cover was for each one. Right, Godzilla to start with. Godzilla, this was the cover for Godzilla, and the picture. Yep. I covered that in a video, recently, like the summer, so I don't really need to cover it. It's a wonderful film, very atmospheric. The Criterion also gives you the American version, which I haven't watched yet. It's a release that's got a lot of stuff on it. It's been remastered, everything looks great. This is a wonderful film. It's very slow moving, very dark. Very depressed film. It's completely different from everything else that follows. And I think it was made without a plan for a Godzilla series. I think it was just a Godzilla film called Godzilla, and it became a hit, so they did a sequel. The sequel was made just next year, I think, called Godzilla Raids Again. Now this one doesn't get much respect, this film. This was a nice surprise for me, actually, because I knew it didn't get any respect. It was one of those ones, it's the first time Godzilla fought against another monster. Gillis, I think it's called. This monster is a spiked. He's got all those spikes in the back. He's an ugly looking thing. It's a nice monster. It's one of those monsters that pretty much get downplayed after this film. Because it wasn't a threat to Godzilla that much. He easily beaten in this fight, and it just wasn't really that important a monster. But the film itself is kind of a good stepping stone film. I mean, basically, it's them thinking there could be this is a sequel. It's a different director. Trying to see, did I see who the director was? Nope. Here it is. Motoyoshi Odia was director. There's only time ever directed any of these films. And there was a romance in it between these different people working in planes, and the main character of these pilots who escorted all the fishermen around the area, and they were trying to deal with Godzilla attacking Japan again, and Godzilla fighting the monster, and so it's still in black and white. There's a terrific sequence towards the end when they get Godzilla after he's beefed another monster, he's actually in this this area of all these icebergs, and end up destroying this iceberg to collapse on him, and he has to try and survive the avalanche, and that's how they get Godzilla to be, you know, stopped for a while. That's a terrific sequence. It's really enjoyable. A lot of the other sequences of Godzilla attacking Japan are wonderful. The characters are okay. They're nothing great. They're a bit broad compared to the first film, and they are very influenced by American films at the time. It feels like they've watched a lot of American films. This was made just after the occupation, or maybe the occupation was still going on. I'm not quite sure if the occupation was still going on or not. But obviously, it's seen a lot of American films come in, so it doesn't really have a Japanese identity as a story compared to the first film, or compared to what followed. It feels like it's half and half. It's like half influenced by American films and half a Godzilla film. It's in black and white, but it doesn't quite feel like the first Godzilla film. So it's just like one of those weird kind of in-between films, but they never quite worked out what they were doing. But still wonderfully enjoyable. I'd happily watch it again for a problem. It's still a very enjoyable film. It's not the worst that I was going to get for this series. One thing I should say about the series is the quality for such a long-running series. I mean, this series runs as long as the Bond series. It's pretty high. I mean, I would say there's less objectively awful and watchable movies than there is from the Bond series. The Bond series has much worse periods, like the Pierce Brosnan period, where there's a lot of trash. This one, you get some films that aren't as good, but they're all generally watchable. Wait a minute, I've skipped one, sorry. King Kong vs Godzilla is the next one. This is this one when Toho got the license to King Kong, so they decided to match him versus Godzilla. They brought back. Wait, I'm sorry. Here, I'm just gonna get the. What's going on here? Sorry about this. The credits are so Ishiro Honda come back from this for this one, and he's directed the original Godzilla film. He did a lot of Godzilla films throughout the Showa period. He was a guy who started working with Akira Kurosawa early on as an assistant director, and he ended up going back and helping Kurosawa and Ran and Kagemushi and things like that. So obviously they were still friends. So after his career when it was over, he went back and helped Kurosawa. So that's quite an interesting career turn. Like, you work your way up, you become a director, you do all these monster movies, then you go back and help one of the guys who views as a master of cinema. That's unusual career trajectory. Right, so he came back for King Kong vs Godzilla. Now, Honda was one of the two main directors of Godzilla films. The other guy, Jun Kunuda or something, I'll get to his name later on when he comes up. There were different types of directors. Like Honda was more classical. He took it seriously to a degree. He knew it was silly monster movies, but he had a more classical view of it. He actually had themes and monsters he liked. I mean, between Godzilla and King Kong vs Godzilla, he made Mothra. He made Rodan. And Mothra was one of the ones he was very fond of. One of those characters he was very fond of. So he made a lot of films, and some were good, some weren't so good, but he was a very classical director, so you could watch his films and get some good compositions. He was good with directors, you know, he was good with actors. I mean, the director was good with actors. He was good at, I mean, he wasn't going to get great performances out of actors who weren't the best actors, but he got decent performances out of them, and he made the story flow, and he was a good professional director. And he knew what he was doing within these monster movies. So it was always a pleasure to watch his films because he knew what he was doing. He had some respect for the material, even when it was either dodgy or script. He still gave it the respect, and actually helped bring Godzilla up during a period where it was changing from serious to more kiddie friendly. But he still managed to create something that was watchable and interesting for the audience. So King Kong vs Godzilla was basically I watched the Japanese version. I'd already seen the American version in DVD years ago, so I watched the Japanese version, so that's what I'm talking about. I really enjoy the Japanese version of that a lot better. I mean, it's 10 minutes longer, and there's more like satire about how the Japanese have become like money obsessed and obsessed with images, and like the whole mess is created by one company wanting to sponsor Godzilla once he's been brought back from the once he escaped from the iceberg. One company's making Godzilla films. Another company goes out and hears about the great evil on this island, which is Skull Island. So they send people out and they find King Kong. So this other company wants to bring King Kong back to promote their brand of oil as a publicity thing. And that's what gets everyone in trouble, is the fact that these two companies want to compete with each other. So it ends up creating a situation where these two monsters are going to fight each other. So it's kind of funny. It's silly, but it's funny. But it's obviously Field and Honda did not like where the modern Japan was going, and they used these films, as silly as they were, to suggest that Japan was going a bit off. Japan was not the sanest place. Like they did values that were very facile and very silly. And they used monster movies to tell them that. And amidst all this, like over the top, so some of the performances in this is over the top and a bit more satirical, so it's less somber than some of his other films. But so he's having fun with certain things and certain daft businessmen. But the monster fights are good fun. I mean, Godzilla looks silly, but not Godzilla. King Kong looks silly in his costume. I mean, Godzilla always looked a bit silly, but that was enjoyable about him. And I mean, the monsters always got a tiny bit silly, but that's what makes them lovable. Especially in colour. Colour does not hide any sin of the costumes. And when you first see King and Godzilla in colour, it does look a bit weird after watching black and white stuff. But the fights are good fun, and he builds up King Kong before you see him, with lots of lightning and lots of atmosphere. So you always have a sense that Kong is treated with respect. And then when you see him in the costume, it doesn't look so good. But Honda's always shooting Kong for the build-up to give him enough threat to face Godzilla. Then you get the big Godzilla Kong fight, which is silly but enjoyable. It's great fun. I love this film. It's really daft, but it was really enjoyable. It was followed by Mothra vs Godzilla, another Honda film. We have here Mothra. Mothra was I think, was Honda's favourite. That's what it feels like. He directed Mothra, and when they brought Kong into the Mothra, no, not Kong, Godzilla and Mothra, it was a nice combination, because it was really a Mothra film where Mothra had to deal with society. Like, one of Mothra's eggs has been found by modern society. They're driving an exhibition, then Kong shows up from under the earth, and they have to ask Mothra to defeat Godzilla. Did I say Kong showed up? I don't know. And it's basically Mothra versus. So you get the moth version of Mothra, then you get the slug version of Mothra, and there's two of them, and they fight Godzilla. It's great fun. It's really silly, but it's really enjoyable. Great atmosphere. It's actually better than the Mothra film itself. I've seen the Mothra film, but the Mothra film too. The Mothra film is a bit slow. This one's faster paced because Godzilla's in it. It helps pace it up. But you've also got the sense of Hondo loves Mothra, and he treats the character with a lot of respect. And he also treats Godzilla with respect. But Godzilla is like the chief supporting player in this film. It's not really a Godzilla film, it's a Mothra film, with Godzilla as the support. So that's one thing about Godzilla. It's kind of similar to what I said with Robocop in another video, where he's not the character who propels things all the time, but he's the reactor to a lot of things that happen in the films, and that's what makes him work, because they always find ways to make him part of the film. So it works really well here. I mean, Honda also made King Kong Escapes, another King Kong movie after King Kong vs Godzilla, but then he always come back to Godzilla's, including this one, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. This is the big change in the series. This is where Godzilla, I'm getting these mixed up, actually has to switch from being a villain to a good guy. He's basically having to be told, basically Rodan comes back up from the earlier films, from the other Toho films. Rodan escapes from his place he was hibernating. Godzilla rises, and a woman comes to say that the end of the world is nigh, that the coming of King Ghidorah, a three-headed golden monster, was going to destroy the world. He's an alien, he's going to destroy everything. And Mothra has to be persuaded to come over and basically persuade Godzilla and Rodan to fight with him against King Ghidorah to save the world. And it takes him a while to convince him, because Godzilla's opinion is that humans treat him like a dick, basically. And humans are awful. And he has been persuaded that they all live the planet too, and Ghidorah is going to destroy the planet, so they have to save the planet no matter how annoying humans are. This is a wonderful film. This is so enjoyable. The human characters in this one are not bad either. I mean, and you get in the Honda films, the humans tend to be enjoyable, and even though they're not exactly memorable, they fill the gap of the human scenes to actually feel like they're still worth watching, even though they're very basic. I mean, there's nothing new here, but they tend to be enjoyable, and you tend to like the actors even though they're not got the great stuff to do. But it's not a great fun film. Next we have Invasion of the Astro Monster, which is basically King Ghidorah again coming back. This time it's just Rodan and Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. This one you actually get your first aliens coming in. I mean, there were suggestions of aliens from King Ghidorah film that were possessing the woman to tell them the visions. This time the aliens are trying to con the people into the idea that they get attacked by King Ghidorah. Can they please borrow Godzilla and Rodan to fight him? It turns out it's a con. They're going to brainwash Godzilla and Rodan to fight with King Ghidorah and make the humans surrender to them. Of course, the humans find out what they want, find out how to break the spell between over Ghidorah, Godzilla and Rodan, and basically Rodan and Godzilla end up beating the hell out of the aliens and beating the hell out of King Ghidorah. The funny thing with this one is it's got flying saucers, rocket ships, and I'm pretty sure whoever wrote Mars Attacks for Tim Burton has seen this film, because there's so much that has come down, so much the imagery feels very similar to Mars Attacks. The way they kill, they destroy the human, destroy the aliens, human destroy the aliens, is through this annoying sound that utterly drives them insane, just like Mars Attacks. The whole film, there's all these shots of UFOs and lakes and things. I definitely think that this film is an influence on Mars Attacks. This just feels a massive influence. It's a wonderful film. I adore this one. Astro Monster is just great fun. I'd happily watch it tomorrow without a problem. You know. Next, this is the first time we have Jun Fukuda. He took over now as Honda moved on to other films for a while, and this is Ibira, Horror of the Deep. Now, this film I saw this summer. It's an enjoyable film. I can't remember as much as some of these other films because I've recently saw the other ones. That one I saw, it's a nice atmosphere, it's some nice moments of Godzilla fighting this monster that never came back. It's not a memorable one. It's a new director taking over. I remember feeling it when I was watching it. It was very enjoyable, but it was a bit clunky. It was a start of something. It's a new monster. It's a good new monster. You've got Mothra showing up. You've got lots of stuff happening. It's enjoyable. It's not the greatest Godzilla film, but it's an enjoyable new start. It's a new director finding his feet within the series. He would then come back with Son of Godzilla. Now this one gets a bad rap because it's got the kind of Manila, which is the kind of Godzuki kind of Son of Godzilla character that was cute for kids, so it means that adults hated it, adult fans hated it. But this is actually when the director starts to find his feet a bit more, because it's a very enjoyable film despite all that. It takes place on an island, there's a lower budget than before. It's about a scientist trying to control weather, and the weather controls end up creating mutations which creates cockroaches to go much bigger. The island also has a giant spider. You've also got Godzilla trying to protect his son and trying to teach his son how to survive. And you've got the islanders. The one woman whose father was trapped in the island for years. She knows how to survive the island. And you've got these scientists and this reporter, and they're all trying to survive. I mean, it's not a particularly amazing story, but the way it's done is very enjoyable. The characters are fun once you get to know them. The giant spider's great. Godzilla's great. The giant monster's great. The kid Godzilla is actually fun because they don't overcute him, really. They make him actually a child who doesn't know any better, just trying to learn. He's not annoying or clawing, he's just trying to learn the basics. So it's a very enjoyable film, and all hell breaks loose. The weather changes radically over time as these experiments cause hell on this island. The monster fights are terrific. It's really enjoyable. It's a really fun film. I'd highly recommend it. Despite its title, it's a really good film. It's like a... This is when you start to see a difference between the directors. Like, Fukuda was actually more cynical, I think, more fun. I'm not sure he took this as seriously as Honda. Honda had themes, environmental themes he tried to throw in here. He took things more seriously, even though he knew it was silly. He was a very classical director. He tried to make everything within the older style of trying not mock your subject. Fukuda was more fun. Like, he understood that Godzilla was silly. And I think he was much better at the scenes where the monsters weren't there. We had the people, because he would have more fun with the characters, and he would let the actors be sillier, and he'd pace those scenes up a bit more. And then when they had monster attack, I found his monster attacks were much more brutal, and you know, Godzilla was more up for a fight. When he was directing it was much more of a brawler. It was just more enjoyable as a kind of silly B-movie. And Honda, it was more enjoyable had more seriousness to him, and it was more enjoyable in a different way. But I think the balance of both those directors was good because you end up getting two different types of films that switch back and forward. But it was enjoyable to see two different styles that were always kind of fighting each other slightly for control of the series, but they were similar enough so you never saw the join, but it made a variation in the series. Next is one of the most famous films, Destroy All Monsters. This is a film it's very hard to get hold of for years. This is basically set in the future. All the monsters live in Monster Island. They are happy and they're protected from the world, and the world can't get attacked by them. Then aliens attack. Aliens mind control the monsters. The monsters attack all the different cities in the world. New York, Paris, everything. So it's great fun watching all these monsters destroy the world. And then the humans have to try and find ways to stop the aliens from controlling the monsters, and also find a way to stop the aliens from taking over the world. It's as silly as it sounds. Honda's back as a director. His seriousness really helps the film. And one thing he has over everyone else is he's good at colours. Like, there's tons of colours in this film, like greens, reds. It's very pop arty, and he really has a lot of fun without taking it serious enough. He still enjoys having lots of interesting visuals throughout the film. And it's a very enjoyable film despite how simple it actually is. It's a very simple film, but it works. It just works for what it is. It's just a nice monster mash movie. 90 minutes and it's over. It just works. You don't have to really think the plot too much. I mean, the plot's good enough, but it's very basic. But you're there to see the monster attack in different ways. Monsters destroy the cities. Monsters fight each other. Monsters, after the brainwashing's over, having to join together to fight King Ghidorah again. King Ghidorah's basically working for the baddies again, obviously. And then watch them beat the hell out of them. Then watch Godzilla trash the aliens finally. It's so enjoyable. It's one of my favourite films of the series. It was also one of the best films of the series. Then I thought it was overrated and it was downplayed. And now watching it again, it's like, it is one of the best ones of the series. It might not be the best one, but it's definitely one of the best. Then we go to this one. All Monster Attack. This is the one I fast forwarded through because I wasn't interested. It's the Click Show film. It was made quickly after after Destroy All Monsters. Because Destroy All Monsters was thought was going to be the final Godzilla film. Then it was a big hit, so they had to make more. This one, with a lot of clips from old films, it had a small child befriending son of Godzilla. It's been hated by a lot of fans. I just wasn't interested in it, so I fast forward through most of it. I'll probably watch it again. I think it was just the case of I was watching traditional Godzilla films, and this one it was the idea that Godzilla doesn't exist. It's this kid's imagining the whole thing. It just was too weird for what I was watching. I'll probably go back to it later. But at the moment it was like too much of a left turn when I was into a full-on Godzilla watch-a-thon. Next we have a real different turn. This is when they went back to making Godzilla films, which is Godzilla vs Hedorah, which is another one-off monster. This is one of my favourite Godzilla films. It was directed by Yoshimitsu Banno. This is the only time he directed a Godzilla film. He didn't really direct much after this because the producers hated this film so much because it was very psychedelic, very weird. It's about this monster, these aliens who use the Earth's pollution to create a monster that attacks and destroys everything in its path, and Godzilla has to come out and destroy it. This is where you started to get kids as the central characters in Godzilla films for a while. It's very kid friendly, but within this film is pretty dark and pretty gruesome, and it's just wonderful. It's one of those where I don't want to say much about it. I just want you to go and watch it and enjoy it. It's wonderfully weird, and it can only have been made in the early 70s. It's like very influenced by a lot of British TV, like Avengers and things. It just has that feel of 70s-ness to it. It's environmental, but it's also weird and goofy and Godzilla-like, and yeah, there's lots of weird animations in it as well, which producers hated. The whole film was hated. It was like, let's never do this again. So this is when the Godzilla series was trying to stabilise, because I think they thought of an ending, they stopped, then they had to start again, and they did no direction for a while. Now we have Godzilla vs Gigan. This is a perfect example of a middle of the road movie. Jun Fukuda come back. Again, he has a lot of fun with the characters. You'll get aliens again to try to take over the world. They've got a Godzilla theme park. They've got a villain called Gigan, which is this robotic thing with that can fly and has this cutting thing in its chest that can injure Godzilla. The lead character is a comic book artist who gets caught up in a conspiracy, and he finds that these people who are posing as industrialists may not be who they seem, and all him and his friends try to build this Godzilla land, and there seems to be a conspiracy around it. It's really daft but really enjoyable. Again, because it's directed in a fun way, it keeps it going. But it is a kind of in the middle kind of film where it's obviously they weren't quite sure where they were going to go with the series, but this was a nice little filler until they worked it out. And so it's not exactly memorable, not compared to the earlier Morpher films or Ghidorah films or where it was going to go after this. This was kind of in the middle, they're trying to work it out, but still very enjoyable. Now we have one of the silliest ones. This is Godzilla vs Megalon. This is also Jet Jaguar. It was this robot in a human form. This was a low budget one. This was we're fighting against a lost civilization who were damaged in a nuclear test. Basically, Godzilla's barely in this film. Godzilla turns up at the end, and he's great when he's in it. And it's one of those cases where Fukuda, again, because he doesn't have much money, he has to try and make the human stuff interesting because there's not much monster until the end. So his Jet Jaguar character, you have him and his inventors, the creatures from below the sea are trying to get his invention and have it work for them. They want to make more of them so that they can have a lot of robots operated by them to defend themselves against the humans because there's not that many of them. So the villains actually have a reasonable stance, the humans are causing havoc for them. It's very kind of Aquaman idea, but done on a very low budget. But the fight scenes are fun. There's a lot of 70s design. There's a scene where a car chase where the car goes down these steps. And it's obvious that Fukuda's having a lot of fun with basic fights and basic explosions and the non-Godzilla stuff. He's having fun. He's actually now expanding out of, which you find also in like Gigon as well, where he's trying to find ways to keep it interesting even when there's no monsters, because he knows there's only so much money for the monster fights. And this one, even though he has a duff plot, he keeps it moving fast. He has scenes where the scientist and his little brother are going to get locked in a container that's going to get thrown off a dam and stuff, and ends up getting interrupted by Megalon and stuff like that. There's lots of stuff. Then Godzilla finally appears with Jet Jaguar to fight Megalon, and you also get Gigon coming back to help Megalon as well, and they're fighting Godzilla and Jet Jaguar. And Godzilla at this point is like a total brawler. Godzilla he says in this film Godzilla don't wait for a fight because he's bored, and it's like, oh thank God I have a fight. And he goes there and he beats the hell out of everybody, and he's basically a brawler. He's basically a drunken brawler who's out for a night in the town. That's all he's interested in. He doesn't seem to care about what he's fighting for. He just wants to fight somebody. He's so bored, he wants to fight. So now we have Godzilla vs Mechagodzilla. This is Fukuda's final film, and it's another one of my favourites. This is a really fun one. This is tacky as hell. Again, because Fukuda does not have money for the fights, not the money for the monster fights or that many of them, he has to improvise. So he's got aliens again and trying to attack Earth, trying to manipulate everything. They build Mechagodzilla, so they have Godzilla seeming to attack everywhere and become a villain again, and turns out it's a robot Godzilla. Because Godzilla turns up and fights Mechagodzilla and both of them get injured badly. So the first half hour of this film goes basically really fast. It's a spy movie, then it's a adventure movie going through old tombs, then it's a monster fight movie, and it goes back and forward, and it's like, it's really enjoyable. Then it ends with a fight between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. That's the first third of the movie. Then you have more spy stuff as they have to go and investigate who these aliens are, and they have to also investigate King Caesar, which is this other monster that can be born and will help fight Mechagodzilla. So one half try to investigate the aliens, the other half trying to find a way to get King Caesar reborn. And they're both fun because you've got one set and fight scenes in a ship and another set of fight scenes in the fight scenes in a ship. You've also got these investigation scenes in this cave. Now, it looks really nice. This full film is shot really well. They put some care into this one. They really try to make it good. The action scenes are terrific. They're really energetic. I mean, there's nothing new in them. They're really energetic. The villains are torturous little sod. There's lots of blood. I mean, there's now lots of blood in these films with Fukuda directing them. Like, any time a Godzilla's fighting someone, if he gets attacked, blood flies everywhere. In this one, the villain gets killed, he's shot in the throat and blood flies everywhere. And the villains are basically monkey men, this guy's aliens, coming from Black Hole Planet 3. That's how much imagination they show. Naming stuff. But despite how silly it seems, it's great fun. When King Caesar finally shows up, he's another brawler. So Godzilla and King Caesar, first Mechagodzilla, they're all brawlers, they're all beating the hell out of each other. And it's just great fun. It was so enjoyable. I mean, it's just the epitome of silly Godzilla movie, but done really well. I mean, the characters are fun for what they are. The villains like to torture people and be nasty. They've always been influenced by Bond films by this point. But it's just so enjoyable. It's just wonderfully trashy. The fights are great. King Caesar's a good sidekick to Godzilla. And Mechagodzilla's another great invention. It's another one of those great inventions that kept being brought back in the series after this, because it was obviously a good villain, really. Outside of King Ghidorah, it's probably the best villain they've got. Really, there's a character that's always going to be the villain. There's no way to make him the hero, unless he's been programmed to be the hero, but generally it works better as a villain. Finally, we have the final monster film in the series. This is Terror of Mechagodzilla. This brought back Honda. Honda had gone and retired for a while, after All Monster Attack, but they brought him back for this one, and it's a weird film. It's nowhere near as good as Godzilla vs Mechagodzilla. It's just not as good. It's fine though, but it's made by an old guy. You can sense it's not made by a guy who's at his peak. It's not made by the same passion that went into like the original Godzilla, or even the style into Destroy All Monsters. This one's a bit more slow paced. The cast, apart from the leading lady, is pretty blah. I mean, it's almost like, oh, he'll do. I mean, the Fukudo ones, they were cast with some imagination. They were a bit over the top, some of the actors. They were cast with, they were fun. You enjoyed watching the actors. But this one, not so much. So, it was one of those things where you're just waiting for the monster fights. The monster fights are good, they're good and enjoyable. I mean, when Godzilla turns up, he's always introduced well because Honda's an affection for the character. He seems to enjoy Mechagodzilla to a degree, but I don't think it wasn't his character, so you never get the sense that he was having much fun with him. There's an underwater monster that seemed to inspire one of the monsters in Phantom Menace. That's in there as well. It's enjoyable. Honda seemed to like this monster a bit more because he's a creature of nature rather than machines. And he seemed to enjoy the leading lady, who's this woman who died and she's been built as a cyborg. So her brain still works, but she's been controlled by the aliens. And that's a sympathetic character. So whenever she's on there, Honda seems to enjoy the character. Whenever he's working with any other actors around about, or love interest for her, or any scientists, they're all kind of very samey characters. There's no distinct character beats for any of them. Like in some of the previous Godzilla films, they all had different clothing, different character beats, so you always knew who was doing what and where. This one, they all kind of feel very samey. So you kind of think, I don't care. So this is kind of a weaker film to go on the Showa era, because it's okay, but it's not great. The moments where the leading lady is good, but anything else around that or the monster fights are not as good. So that is basically me on the Showa era Godzilla films. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, they're all worth seeing. The box set is terrific. There's some great extras. I highly recommend getting it. The transfers are all good. I wish they'd separated them into more discs though. That's my big criticism. But still, I'm there for the films, have the films. And it's good to have them. They all look really nice. And they're all very enjoyable. I mean, I really had a whale of a time watching them. I'm going to happily rewatch them all. Even the weaker ones I'll happily rewatch. They're all about an hour and a half long. Sometimes an hour 20, sometimes an hour 40. But an hour and a half is the average. And they're all really enjoyable. I mean, how they stack up compared to the other Godzilla films that came after it. They're less self-serious. They seem to be in the joke a bit more. They're aware that it's a bit goofy. You know, the directors seem to be enjoying themselves despite the goofiness of it all. Godzilla's a bit more goofy than he was later on. This is when he could become the hero. After that, in the later films, he was either the villain again or he was going back and forth. So you kind of lost some of the character from Godzilla after this era, which is a bit of a shame. And some of the silliness was nice in this era that you kind of lost later on. But the later era had a lot better monster fights. But I think they had a lot worse character stuff. I think the character stuff in these films tended to be better. Even though they're very basic and rote, they were more fun. It was like the actors seemed to get the joke a bit more in these ones, I think, than some of the actors got in the later films. I think in later films they never quite the balance right of we're in something silly, we're going to enjoy it, we're not going to be too silly though. Except for Terror of Mechagodzilla, which went a bit too much towards campiness for me in a lot of the acting. But most of the time the acting was more fun and more tuned into what it should be in these ones. And all films are really enjoyable. But I think if you look at your favourite Godzilla films, they're going to come bits and bobs from each era. There's always, each era has its good ones and bad ones. But even the bad ones are still enjoyable, so who's there to complain? So please comment below of what your favourite Godzilla films from this era were, and have you bought the Criterion box set and what do you think of it? I'd love to know. But I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you soon with some more. Right, bye.